All right, welcome everyone. Nan Akasha here from nanakasha.com, blissliferetreats.com, lightbodyschool.com, and let's dive in today. So what we're going to be doing today is the money vacuum. Sounds interesting? I hope you like it. You are going to love the concept. So let me dive in and share with you something that has been a real key to what I've been helping others as well as myself do for about a decade now. So my story, ups and downs, Bliss Life podcast here. You're going to get this here free right here on Facebook. It'll be the replay. If you want us to email you, get on our list at nanakasha.com and we'll tell you about other free events that we have, where I'm speaking, retreats that I'm doing, classes, whatever, lots of goodies. And then if you want to get on iTunes, you can get Bliss Life Podcast, and they'll tell you, I think, give you a little notice or something, or put it on your phone. And whenever one of these are up. So if I do it here live, it will be up there within a day, and they'll let you know. You don't have to go search for it on Facebook. Okay, so what I'm doing here on the Bliss Life podcast is I really believe that you're meant to seek and follow your bliss. You're meant to uncover your fears, your conditioned mindsets that tell you you can't or you won't or you're not good enough. I believe that you're supposed to use the pain and failure and loss and frustrations and desires inside of you as guideposts to listen to your true inner self. I truly believe that over many millions of years on this planet, we have lost our power. We have gone into the dark ages, meaning we've forgotten who we are. We're remembering, and it's happening very fast. People are waking up all over the planet. You might have been into this for 30 or 40 years now, or just 2 days ago, you suddenly had a meditation experience that you can't explain, and now you want to know why. Maybe you're on a healing journey. This is a real common thing. Some crisis happens, right? A divorce, foreclosure, some form of loss of money or job, identity. This is where the core transformations are in our life. Does it mean you have to constantly be in crisis? No, you do not, okay? However, it does mean that you ride your life being in the present moment, accepting what is. So you've got to start with where you are. And if where you are is not enough money or not enough time or not enough support or not enough energy or not enough ideas or not enough clients or not a big enough list or not enough time, whatever, okay? The not enoughness has to end before the enoughness can come into your awareness. But they're the same thing because they're two sides of the same coin. They're two ends of the same polarity. They're two sides of the same magnet. And so there's only one thing in the time-space continuum that you live inside of. You're a divine being, you're an energy being, you're a spirit being. You decided with great intention that you wanted to achieve some things, you wanted to do some things, you wanted to heal from some things, and you wanted to empower yourself to raise your frequency, to continue towards the next level of enlightenment or awareness. And that soul path took a lot of power. So you are a powerful manifester. You wouldn't be here and you wouldn't have anything in your life. You wouldn't even have a body if you weren't a kick-ass manifester with a very intentional and powerful soul purpose, okay? So now here you are. You may be at a point in your life where you're like, what the hell? WTF? What was that? You know, I thought life was going to be like this and it isn't. Or I thought that if I worked hard and listened to these people, I would have this result and I don't. Or why did I achieve all that and now I don't? Or whatever it is. So why am I saying that? Because if you're not in some form of transformation or metamorphosis in your life right now, I think you might be dead. Because I haven't met a single person in the last 3 years that isn't in the middle of some kind of transformation in their life. It used to be slower. We know that. Literally, we can measure that magnetically. It's not just some abstract thing. Time has sped up. Time space is a construct. It doesn't exist, but we created a way for it to feel like today, tomorrow, yesterday. But that's the gift. You came here to be inside of that paradigm. You're not limited by it. It isn't the truth of who you are. And yet you're right here in this moment. I want you to decide to be right here in this moment with me right now. Okay? Let's take a deep breath. Feel it filling your heart. Feel violet light, flames burning away, opening your heart. Let it go. I am willing and ready to be here now. I am open and receptive to realignment with my truth, my inner authority, money, and my power. My power is that I am the creator of my reality, and I need to completely own that. My power is that I have mindsets and conditioning that have been there for so long they feel normal, but now I know it's time to find some of those and change them. And so with that intention, I will. And today I commit to allow the deepest fears, beliefs, thoughts, patterns, emotions, karmic agreements that are holding back my money, that are holding back my abundance, that are holding back my wealth and my worthiness. I allow those to come up from the dungeons, from where I've sucked them and locked them away, and the shame and the guilt and the fear and the failure and the uncertainty and the overwhelm and any other emotion or experience you've had with money, with being good enough, with asking for your value, with having plenty, abundance, right? Plenty of opportunities, plenty of time, lots of friends, wonderful potential clients, fantastic ways of making money and serving in the world, more than enough of this, generous and abundant and flowing in that. So this is what we want to do. We want to flip your switch. Literally, I can tell you as a hypnotherapist and a complete geek around quantum science and physics and the mind and psychology, a doctor of homeopathy, an energy healer, and a business person. I've built nine different businesses. Most of those multi-6 or 7-figure businesses over 30 years or so. And so I've been up and down. I haven't been sitting in a corner. Okay? I had a daughter die, and then I adopted twins at birth who were 8 weeks premature and fit in my hand. I have, just like you, been dealt all kinds of interesting things. I've had massively abundant and wonderful, beautiful, luxurious, loving moments and experiences. And I've had heart-wrenching, horrifying, mind-numbing, shocking, painful losses and experiences as well. And everything in between. So if you've had that, and I've had that, and everyone else who's ever lived in this paradigm on this planet has had that, then maybe it's time that we all let go of judging ourselves and the fact that we're not perfect all the time, or we're not always in success, or we didn't maintain something that we achieved, or everything didn't stay the same, or whatever you're beating yourself over the head with, right? That your culture, your society, your family, or somebody told you had to be or do. Why'd you change? Why don't you just stay the same? I mean, you got that degree, or are you making money? You should just do that. You should just take that. Just do that because it makes me feel safe. But we're not willing to do that anymore, are we? No, because we're waking up. Because the part of us that was hidden from us, literally 90% of us, our mind and our emotions and our spiritual input and our purpose and our past skills and our ability to communicate with everything from the wind to nature, to our higher self, to angels, to our body. Everything is energy. Everything is conscious. Everything is vibrating. This is all proven. You just got to get over it, right? Just go through challenging that belief if you're still holding back on the fact that you're divine, you're God, and so is everything else. And it also removes the fact that you can't judge anybody anymore, and you can't judge yourself either, because everybody's here and we jumped in onto this roller coaster ride. That's what it is. So enjoy it, be present, be like, wow, this is an interesting part of my experience. It really hurts. It hurts really bad. And I'm going to give myself permission to feel it. And I'm going to cry, and I'm going to feel grief, and I'm going to feel it and accept it for all it is, because it is what it is. And if I loved someone and they died, or if I had all of my hopes wrapped up in a new baby, or in a new job, or in a new client, or in, a new partner working out for my business or for my love life, and it didn't work out the way I thought, and I plummet down to feeling guilt, shame, anger, blame, fear, depression, anxiety, craving, whatever, how are you free? How are you free? You aren't. You've lost your free will. Your free will was gone before you were 1, probably, but for sure by the time you were 7. So where are you now? You're right here with the rest of us going, oh yeah, that's right. I came here on purpose. I knew what I wanted. I programmed it in. I have codes in my friggin' DNA that know who I am. I have at the base of my spine, literally in my physical body, the 8 original cells from which my entire body came, which my entire consciousness, personality, and who I am entered and has become. Here's the thing. For you to attract the funds for your top goal, which is really the only thing we should be thinking about, right? Instead of like, I need to accomplish all of these things in every area of my life. Yes, know what you want. Yes, be okay not knowing what you want, right? Yes, decide, oh my gosh, I am so ready to let myself dream of the biggest possible thing I would love in this moment. And I'm ready to let myself want it and to open up the doors in my mind and my heart and my energy and synchronicities at every level. Just go for it. Play full out. What if? Do you realize how shut down 92% of adults are after age 7 to 10? We've lost our dreams. We've lost our sense that there's wonder in the world. We've been beaten into some form of just go to that classroom, just memorize that crap, just sit in a room and don't play outside. Just take this Ritalin, just eat this stuff that I want you to eat. Don't be different. Don't be creative. We're going to take away the music. We're going to take away the art. We're going to take away all this stuff. And you just need to behave. We're not here to behave, okay? We are not here to behave. We're here to create. We're here to grow. We're here to change. That is not bad. And I'll tell you the number one thing that is stopping you, and I don't care what goal it is, finding the love of your life or getting the hottest body you've ever had or making money or whatever. For me, my number one goal is always a spiritual goal. That's all I care about. I mean, it's not all I care about. But I want to be every minute of every day a more and more optimal container for the highest possible frequency of divine energy, wisdom, knowledge, and love that I can hold. And that means that every minute of every day, I have to be challenging my own beliefs. I have to be looking at my own patterns. And yes, I go through ups and downs. I've made so much money and I've lost so much money between divorces and bankruptcy and the whole economy collapsing and $400,000 or something are owed to me by department stores and in my first business, all these things. Okay. So here's the thing. I am accepting that I am a wise woman. Gads. I've been through the ups and downs, and you've been through your own ups and downs, and you have way more wisdom than you give yourself credit for. And you have way more support, and you have way more access to wisdom and knowledge inside of you. If you would just take your focus off what if negative things, what will they think negative things, basing any decisions you made on money you can see or the experience with money in the past is going to kill any opportunity for you to grow and expand. Now, we know it. We've all do it. 99% of our lives, or 94 or 8, I think it's 89% of every thought you have all day is the same thing. It's a repetition of the same 10 thoughts or something. Occasionally you break free. If you learn to meditate, if you learn to do energy work, if you come to the Bliss Life retreats, if you do things that get you out of your pattern in your life, and I mean very intentionally, Like you come on a Bliss Life retreat, you fly into the Caribbean, Mexico, Cancun, very safe, very beautiful paradise vacation land. And then we begin to go have ceremonies and go into nature and kiss and hug dolphins and go with sacred shamans and to sites at dawn and all things that you've never done, things you'll probably never do again, things you couldn't do without a group like this and organizing it. Imagine when you cut a knife through your patterns, your worries, your habits, the same thing. You're trying to find a solution to something right now in your life. What is it? If you're here, it has to do with money. So today I'm going to share some things about money that I've learned through my massive ups and downs. And I'll tell you the thing about money is it's just a neutral energy. It's a concept. If tomorrow we all decided money wasn't what we were going to trade and we all started at zero, but we all decided that you had to have fern plants or chickens or no, let's not trade animals and slavery, or crystals from the ground or rocks or pebbles or I don't know, whatever. We've just decided we have an agreement on this planet that money is money, but the energy of money that's underneath what you give the meaning to it, and you give it all kinds of meaning. You don't have a choice. You take on the meaning and emotions of your family. Money is bad, rich people are evil and greedy, or money is good and poor people are stupid, or anything in between. Okay, any belief you have, you took it on from your family, you took it on from your community, you took it on through experiences, your job, people who are close to you, people you believed in, people you wanted to believe in you. And you also bring your money beliefs with you. So there's some very, very painful karmic experiences in other life experiences that we've all had. And I've seen so many of them as a master level hypnotherapist and a shamanic journeyer that we go in and we find exactly what is the problem, the agreement. And it's usually something that's happened over and over, and it's very, very painful. So if you're having something happen that's very painful around money in this life, I would pay very close attention. Inside there is a lot of information. It is tied, especially if you've had repeated ones like me. I was like massive. It was like I went out, started a business, didn't know how to start a business, had massive success the first year, and in 3.5 years had to close it because of the economy. Nobody paid me. I crashed my entire life, my entire belief system, thought everything was over. Ultimately, that turned out to be the best thing in the world for me. It was the portal that opened to who I am now and what I teach now and my understanding of energy, not just money from physical. So if you are trying, literally, if you're manifesting money, seeking money, desperate for money through the physical, through the head, if you're trying to thinking and worry, and I've got to figure it out, and I got to run around, I have to take massive action, I have to work 80,000 hours, this is not how you manifest money, and it's becoming less and less how you manifest money. It's how you manifest stress, and stress creates, you can flip your DNA. There's only about 5% of your DNA that will stay. So this crap about you're going to get a disease that your family had is not true. So you need to get that out of your head. You can flip the switches in your DNA, and they've proven this now scientifically, up to 95%. So if they say, well, you have a 50% chance of getting diabetes because your dad and your grandfather and so on did, and you can say, oh, okay, cool. Thanks for letting me know. I'm going to go flip that switch, because you can. It's called epigenetics. It's the biology of belief, and your beliefs, but true beliefs, not like, oh, I love money and money comes easy. But then you walk around in fear and anger and guilt and shame around money, and you can't talk about it. We have to, you can't fool money. It's not like you could fake it if you're on a phone call and you've never gotten a client before and you're ready to sell your services. Well, yeah, then you've got to show up with some confidence because you've never done it before. That's okay. But you're like, okay, this is what I'm going to offer you, and so on and so forth. And someone hires you and you have a new experience, and now you built a little belief. People will pay me. And then the next person pays you and you build another belief. And then you have 2 or 3 clients tell you how wonderful it was working with you. And now you feel even better. And you're building by experience an entirely new energy and belief, which is now flipping the switches in your DNA. So if you came from a family, or if you have the DNA or the switches turned on that say money is hard, or I have to work hard, or I don't deserve it, or whatever version of these many money beliefs that most people have at some level or at some point, then You want to find them and flip them. You want to find them and it's just like saying, oh, you know what? I spilled a big pot of black beans in the living room. It's all over. You don't just leave it there. You go clean it up. But you don't go, oh my God, I'm such a loser. I have this fear. I have these black beans that I spilled. No, you just say, oh gosh, that's really awesome. I found it. So I want you to change some of the beliefs you might have, some of the things you might have learned on your personal growth path or in your law of attraction years, or all these different layers that we go through as we begin to waken up. Is you're not going to create negative things in your life if you acknowledge that you're having a fear or a negative thought. In fact, the more you ignore it, except there is a reason to ignore it. So I want you to, the more that you ignore it though, if you are suppressing it, locking it away, burying it in shame and guilt and shadow, you're dragging it around. Okay, energy doesn't die. You can't chop part of you off. You have to embrace all of you and transform it. You bring it in like a hug. That part of you that said, oh, I'm so scared to go out there and dream big and ask for money again. I did that before and it was great for a while, and then this other thing happened and now I'm afraid to be criticized or whatever, right? We all go through it. We go through ups and downs, and then you stretch yourself and you gain more confidence, you gain more peace, you gain more connection to your own inner authority. So when it comes to money, it is one of the most powerful ways to see your inner patterns and beliefs. It's what I call mapping your money mind. And when you do this, you map out your energy in your money mind that also then links you up to your emotional body, your emotional field, because you know you have emotions around money and your self-worth and whether it's okay to ask for money or so on and so forth. That this is good money and that's not good money and all that. I want to challenge some of your money beliefs today, and I'm going to give you a tool and a technique that I have used, that I have learned, and that I have gifted or walked my clients through for years now. I would say easily hundreds of people have done this process. If you don't do it, it won't work, and that's okay. You may not be ready for it. If you do it and you know, everybody's going to get different results. I can't tell you that you're going to get certain results. Certainly at this point, if you're ready to play this game, which is I'm taking back my power, I'm taking back my mind, I'm taking back my fear, I'm going to learn how to flip it so I don't have to live in fear, that money no longer makes my decisions, right? And so what happens now? Well, you have to make that decision, and then you have to follow it up by imprinting and embedding those beliefs, by catching yourself when you're letting money make a decision for you. Here's how that works. I would write this down. This is one of the most powerful things that I learned years ago. And when I first got online about 12 or 13 years ago, I began to talk about spirituality and meditation and energy work, but specifically around money because it was the topic that was up in my life. I was going through my divorce. It was the topic that was up for people who were coming to my blog or calling me. And it was my first course I did called The Spirit of Money. From that point on, I spent 8 or more years specializing in the concept and idea of money, both from having a business school and coaching people to build businesses and building my own businesses. So I know business strategy in a lot of different industries and marketing and so on and so forth, and how to do it under certain budgets. I know how to take you through a shamanic or hypnotic journey to find the beliefs or the past lives that are holding the fears that keep you from allowing yourself to have more money, to keep more money, to see where the money is, to have more ease with the money. And we find those beliefs, or what I call energetic attachments, and we release them. So I want you to realize that if you're working really hard on yourself, and I'm working on forgiveness, and I'm working on getting over my divorce, and I'm working on this, and I'm working on that, good for you. And I want to invite you to stop working. We're not here to work. We're here to play. We're here to let go and watch the energies be in the present moment, and then be clear about what you want. So the first thing that you want is to stop working. All right, and struggling. Because I would bet that over 50% of what you think you want, you don't even want. And you're trying to seek it for reasons that are old agreements with family, or what you believe you have to do to be a good person in the world. And you need to review your current obligations, your busyness, your time, how much time you give yourself, what kind of feelings you have around money, if you're carrying the load, if you're whatever, right? You have to really get to assess where you are. And then you want to clear yourself. I mean, do you want to attract money through guilt and fear? Now, if you're desperate for money, and I was during my divorce, I didn't know how to feed my kids. I would sweat every night. The bed was wet. I was usually overdrawn in my bank account. It was a horrific period of time for me. I'd never had that experience. My mother disowned me. I didn't know where to turn. I've had that experience, and I've been a multimillionaire. I've been able to travel around the world first class and own $1 million home and lots of different things. And so I've again been up the scale and down the scale, right? And I understand now that financial freedom is not having savings, stocks and bonds, lots of property, having insurance and artwork and other investments, because I had all of that and I lost all of it in my divorce. Now, I'm not trying to scare you. I want you to come out of the fear of loss. I want you to come out of judging yourself for past failures you might have had, or guilt or regret that you might be carrying because you haven't made enough money, or you made money and now you don't. Or a lot of people my age are like, I can't believe I'm my age and I have nothing, and I worked my whole life and I did what everybody told me to do to save and to work and to make this safe retirement for myself, and now I have nothing. And yet more and more people are like that. So maybe we have to drop the idea that we judge and project what it means. Oh, you're a bad person. Look at you, you're 40, 50, 60 years old, you have no savings, you have no this, you have no that. Well, you know what? You know how many people have had a medical crisis in the US, and because of their incredibly horrific system and costs around medicine, people are homeless. They're sleeping in the car to try to help their fatally ill child. They're trying to pay off their bills. They have their money taken from their bank account because they can't pay off certain things because of medical stuff. So there's no sense of rhyme or reason to this. And what we have to do is let go of the lack. Let go of there's not enough. Let go of judging. It is none of my business what you think of me, and it is none of my business what you do, what choices you've made. I don't know every situation you've been in. I don't know what you've had to overcome or what opportunities you've had. And even if you had opportunities I didn't, I still don't have the right to stand here and judge that. Well, you should have done different things with that. If I'd had that money, I would have done this. If I'd done that, I would have done this. You don't know that. And the stats show if you don't prepare your mind and your emotions and do your inner work around money, wealth, and worthiness, you can win the lottery. You can inherit a bunch of money. You can be gifted a bunch of money. You can sell a house. You can do whatever. You can get these windfalls. And this system and the other work I do will give you that. People manifest money all the time. However, it's the rubber band, okay? It's not going to stay that way, and it's not going to increase unless you do the inner work. So understand that when you decide you want more in your life, you don't have to suffer. You don't have to prove that you're good enough. You only have to decide. Then you have to see what's inside of you, between you and that goal, that dream, that idea. So pick a goal that requires money in the next 30 days, please, to play this game with me. And you may have seen recently, we've relaunched my international best-selling course from 5 years ago or so, I think, Flip Your Rich Switch. It's a 30-day course, step-by-step, where you listen to 15 minutes of audio and video that reprograms your mind and embeds your visualization for your personal goals. And then you're free, or you have a 15 or 30 minutes routine. It's a daily routine to be easy, to be push buttons. You can just do it. You just sit down and do it, and you don't have any excuses. And in 15 minutes, you've installed new mindsets, you've shifted your energy, and you visualized your goals. Now you're going to go into your day without even having to worry that you have aligned your compass, and you just need to be present. However, here's the way that most life goes. You get up and you're worried and you're busy and you start thinking about what you have to do, and you're thinking while you're on the toilet and brushing your teeth and taking a shower about the agenda for the day and so on. What if you didn't get out of bed? And I know that a lot of my Light Body students do this. I require that they activate their Light Body every day. They can do that in 3 breaths, or they can listen to a 10, 15, 20, or 60-minute audio if they want to, or video, guided with visuals and all kinds of stuff. So at any level. However, why do I require it? Because I know what it will do. I know if you give yourself 15 to 30 minutes a day and there's no excuses, I'm dead tired, it's 2 a.m, I got to get up at 6, I don't care. Do it and drift off to sleep deep into your beautiful money mind reprogramming. What a perfect way to end the day. So I want you to think right now of a real goal. What I realized was that years ago that I had certain beliefs around money and myself. And I had been told, like a lot of people, you're not good with money. As a kid, my money was very controlled, as it is for most children. And I grew up with my different beliefs. And mostly it's your self-esteem, your self-image that reflects your relationship with money. So you take a combination of the beliefs that you've been given or brought in about money, it being good or bad, hard or not, worthy or not, and it mixes with, am I good enough to do what I want and make money, or am I good enough to make money at all? I unfortunately know a lot of women who were programmed as they grew up in their family. It was just the family belief that women don't make money or can't make money or can't manage money or shouldn't make money or won't be attractive to men if they make money, and a whole bunch of other stuff, right? So I want you to understand that you might have stuff lurking. I call them invisible ghosts. Those are beliefs that come from your family or from your ancestry. There's some from you, and you may not even be aware of them, or now you may be becoming aware of them. Or as you do your personal work and you decide to go for a goal that you don't see the money for, that you feel is unreasonable, that pushes your fears, way to go, by the way, then what happens? Now you're stepping out of the norm. You're stepping out of the past. You're stepping out of the fear. You're stepping out of going, oh, I can't do it. What if I don't do it? What if I do it and it doesn't work? What if I do it and I look stupid? What if I do it and lose the money? I don't know. But I'll tell you what, the first event I did, I think it was called The Spirit of Money. It was about 6 months or so after I launched my first online course. I was still in the middle of my divorce, and I was in the middle of a bankruptcy, and I had no credit cards and I had no money. I wanted to hire a coach, and I found the person. I let Spirit guide me there. It took a few months, and then it was $15,000 plus another $1,500 or so about $16,000, $17,000 that I needed to manifest to spend 4 hours with somebody. And inside of me, Spirit, everything was saying yes. I didn't know where I was going to get that money. I had nobody to borrow it from. I didn't have any credit. And I decided, I knew, okay, so this is number one. You cannot make a decision based on money. You cannot make a decision based on what someone else in your life wants or will like or not like your spouse or your father or your mother or your children or your boss or whoever. You cannot make a decision based on the past. Oh, I put something on a credit card before and then I didn't do it. I don't ever want to do that again. I'm terrified. I can't use credit cards. Okay. You can't have any other thing. This is any decision you make. And I'm showing you a really big secret to manifesting your life the way you want right now, because you are making the decisions in your life not from free will. Okay, your subconscious mind, which is completely embedded in your body, which is neural pathways in your brain, which is reactions that you have to what you think or what you feel, they're all embedded in there and they're running the show. In order for you to change that, you're going to have to come present into the moment and say, oh, it's going to be a little bit uncomfortable. I'm going to have to go into my fears. I'm going to have to challenge my beliefs. I'm going to have to go see the mess that's going on inside of me, in my mind and in my emotions, that's keeping me stuck. Now, this is true for everybody. So again, you're not allowed to feel guilty or get upset about the fact that you have negative beliefs or limiting beliefs or lack beliefs or fears because of different experiences you've had. Everyone has those. Everyone. Okay? The queen of the universe or Oprah, the president, the this, the that, I don't care who it is, the Dalai Lama. All right? Everyone goes through their path through this. You are unraveling the old beliefs that you're aware of or not aware of that are in there like a program in a computer. And you're going to just take that energy and rewire it. And transform it to a new belief. So let's take an example of a road trip, because a road trip, you can actually see the progress and you don't get frustrated because you're like, I'm going to drive from New York to LA. Now you can look at a GPS or a map and you can track your progress. So you might get like, oh, I'm tired of driving. I want to be there. But you can see that you're in Arkansas. And so you have a sense of how long it's going to take you. But in your spiritual growth, in your manifestations, you don't see 90% or more of what's happening. You can't perceive it. One, it would blow up your mind if you tried to be aware of everything that was happening around you right now, that your mind and your soul and your energy and elements and everything else is doing right now to respond to what you think and feel and visualize. So if you're thinking and feeling, what if this terrible thing's going to happen? And why is this person mean? And I can't ever have money. Then all those parts of you are right now running around trying to find ways to reinforce that for you. And the same thing, if you say, I have no idea how I'm going to make this money. That's what I had to do when I decided I have to have this. So what I did, the decision had to come not based on, I have no money, then I wouldn't have done anything, right? I had to say, listen to my heart. And my heart just kept screaming, okay, this is really, really hard. I mean, everything I'm going through in my life right now is hard, right? I wanted out of a 25-year marriage, and now everything is falling apart. I lost everything, my credit, my artwork, my properties, and so on and so forth, and so on and so on. So over 3.5 years, this is falling apart, and I'm then trying to figure out how to build a business and how to face my money fears as it's going away. You have to do the same thing. We're in the movie. If you know The Hobbit, you can't go, oh, well, I'm in the middle of the adventure. I'm in this dragon's cave and all this stuff, but I just want to take a break and go home to my hobbit hole, right? No, you're going to walk through the forest of okay, that's been collected around the idea of you being valuable and worthy, and of there being enough money and where it can come from. So as you deconstruct the structure that is preventing you from seeing the opportunities. And I can tell you one thing, when you activate a money vacuum, when you do some of the other processes like my Flip Your Rich Switch or unlock your 100K DNA or reboot your inner money machine or all these different things, you are doing something based on science that is going to a deeper level of cause, not covering the symptom. So here's what usually happens. Oh my gosh, I really, really wish I could go on this retreat. I wish I could go on this retreat with Nan. It's going to be amazing. They're going to be at these pyramids. I've always wanted to do it. I can't believe, okay. So you've got this desire inside of you and it's saying, I really want to do this, right? And this is Tulum. It's one of the sites we're going to be going to. Julie's coming back again. And this is a testimonial from her just from 2 days ago. She started the Rich Switch program and she hit 80% of her money goal within that day of the first call. And but here's the thing. If you don't hook into the desire and then get rid of the ego, you won't know if you're making the right decision, and you might waste a lot of time and money and effort running after things that aren't optimal for you, or they're okay, but they're not really what you wanted. And I see this all the time. I've done it myself too. You're trying to control your manifestations, right? Instead of listening to your heart. So the first thing you have to do is make a decision. Well, that decision has to be made outside of anybody else's influence. You have to learn how to go into your heart, how to create a space around you, like we do in Light Body School. And then you have to activate your heart and connect to the truth. And this is how I do it. So one of my very important teachers who I learned to go to these sacred sites and to get access in these really unique and powerful ways that we do, I learned from him. And I went to Egypt with him many, many, many years ago for the first time. And we had, private access to the Great Pyramid and to temples. And we did activations at dawn and at dusk and all these other very unique experiences. And that's what I do now in the Bliss Life Retreats. So I was hooked. There was like, I want that. And so with the moment that I wanted the coach, okay, this was years after I wanted to go to Egypt. everything was falling apart in my life. This is not a moment when any logical person, especially my family, a banker and a nurse, would say to you, yes, I think you should spend $17,000 on 4 hours with somebody right now when you have no money in the bank and you're trying to feed your kids and build a business. But I knew, because what led me to that moment, what led you to this moment, what led you to maybe be one of the people who've contacted me to say, I want to go on this retreat in March. I know I'm meant to be there. The spirit of abundance and the sacred feminine and masculine mixing is calling me, or the pyramid of the magician is calling me, or the dragon energy. Can you look closely in the front? Here's our dragon. Here's one of our iguanas. They're the guardians and they're there. Is calling me, or whatever. Okay, the dolphins are calling me. That ignition, that inspiration is communication from your heart. You have to let everyone else go, nobody else, not your beliefs about who you are, your beliefs about credit, or your beliefs about your family or anything else. They are not supposed to be how you decide what you choose. Why? Because that means you're basing it on the past and you're basing it on someone else's experience, and you're not basing it on this present moment. And in this present moment, you have said within your heart, oh, I want more money, or I want more freedom, or I want more spirituality, or like this lovely lady, Delucia, who came on our last retreat and is coming again this time. She came all the way from Australia, and she contacted me literally weeks before the September event, like right now. And she said, I've been following you, and I promised myself that if I was ever on the same continent as you, that I would come to whatever you're doing. And I don't know what to say, but here I am. I happen to be on the same continent as you. She was in Canada, and I'm in Mexico. And I have no idea how I'm going to do this, but I think I'm supposed to. So what did we do? I tuned in and said, yeah, you are. You're supposed to be here. Because I'm the guardian of these experiences. And I know that when I was called to hire this particular mentor, or when I was called to go to Egypt, when I went to Egypt, my kids were very young. I wasn't working. I didn't have a very supportive husband, in the sense that he didn't like me going anywhere. So me leaving my kids for 3 weeks and coming up with money to go far away. And back then there was no internet or phone. You really couldn't talk. So it was like me leaving for 3.5 weeks and stuff. It was dramatic. It was a big deal. So I'm trying to illustrate for you that either between my clients that I've worked with, who are, several of them were literally getting ready to move into their mother's house and live on the couch and, get a job at Walmart. They were so depressed till they turned it around to me having limitations with children or spouse or family or time with money. It doesn't matter. Okay. We're talking about money, but you could perceive that your barrier is time. I don't have time. I can't get time off of work. Well, how do you know? Don't you need to make the decision about whether it's right for you and your soul? Then you say, okay, it's right for my soul. There must be a way to do it. Show me the way. That's what I want to invite you to do. Stop making your decisions based on money. That means what you can see, how much credit you have, or how much money's coming in the next paycheck, or how much that somebody in your life is willing to let you spend, or how guilty you feel about spending the money on yourself, or whether or not you want to use a credit or whatever. Whatever limitation, you need to be aware of it. So write it down, find your excuses. Why is money keeping you from even stepping into possibility? So what I want you to understand is, to create a money vacuum is you have to create possibility. What's the phrase? Nature abhors a vacuum. What does that mean? It means that we have seen on a macro and a microcosmic level, energetically, that there's nothing but energy in space, even if it looks physical. And we know that in that space, if we create a vacuum, what happens? Nature fills it. So there's no such thing as a vacuum. So I want you to think about attraction. What does a vacuum do? It sucks things to it, right? You might think of a vacuum being just standing, and when you have the perfect image and visualization and feeling in your body and emotion in your heart and image of that perfect moment when you have achieved coming to the Bliss Life Retreat and you're here, or you're flying home, or you're sitting at the top of the pyramid on the dawn of equinox listening to the birds all around you. You feel the energy pulsing magnetically up from this vortex in this power spot. You feel the Atlantean and Mayan guides all around you. You feel your heart that's been opened through sacred ceremony and through pristine waters and the soul family around you. And you feel yourself expanding. If you put yourself into that moment right now and you made it real to you by practicing it and rehearsing it in your mind over and over, and then you add to it by saying, I am going to this. I don't know how. But if you go in and you remove money and you remove credit and you remove time and you remove people and you remove everything from the decision and you sit, you watch the video on the blissliferetreats.com site and you look at the images and you imagine yourself standing there in your white outfit when we're going into our sacred Mayan shaman ceremony, or you imagine the bliss pouring through you as you're kissing and hugging dolphins and they're adjusting your frequency and flipping your DNA on. You imagine the bliss and ecstasy as you blend the sacred masculine and feminine within your very being, and you awaken to the truth that you're not here to suffer and limit and be fearful and worry. You're not here to worry what anyone else thinks. You're here to ignite your light. And if you don't do it, we're all the poorer for it. When you connect in your heart to what you're really meant to do, it is not on your calendar, and it is not a plan. It is a calling. And then you choose, and then you decide. And in that moment, you have flipped your rich switch. In that moment, you've changed everything. In that moment, you have told your mind, you have told your entire light body, and you have told all of creation, angels and your higher self and source and whatever, the field of abundance and the elementals and everything we live with. You've told everything clearly. I have made a decision. I am not waffling. I am not giving excuses or conditions. Well, if I see the money, I'll go. If it feels good and I don't have to feel scared and everybody agrees and it doesn't upset anybody else, then I'll do it. If I don't have to use my credit card, then I'll do it. If I don't have to stretch myself, I will do it. I'm sorry. But if you're using your life, if you're living your life like that, whether it's whatever, I don't care what it is, whether you're willing to speak up or go to a movie or join a retreat or leave the profession you're in or move across the planet. I don't care how tiny or big your decision is. If you are making it, and I can promise you, you are making at least most of your decisions from your fears. And therefore those programs are running your life. And those programs are filling you full of more fear so that you'll keep making the same choice, which is never looking somewhere new, never deciding I'm going to do this. I don't know how to do it. I'm scared of shit. I'm just terrified. I was terrified every single day, every single friggin' day for 5 weeks when I decided to hire this mentor. I had no credit. I was just barely making enough money to pay my bills and to have a little bit of money in the bank. I had $3,000 in the bank and I gave this person $2,000. I had 5 weeks to come up with the other $15,000. It might as well have been $1 million. I'd made that much money hand over fist in the past. But right now, I had no credit. I was in a divorce. I was in a bankruptcy. Everything was locked up. I was done, right? I was not feeling in the flow, and I was not abundant, and I did not have a lot of resources, and this was new for me. So the fear and the desperation and the grief and the shame, it was all there. And those low vibrations, they are not good when you want money to flow, right? If you want cash to flow and you want it to flow with positive, empowering energy. So did I say, you know what, I'm feeling fear, that means I shouldn't do this? No. Okay, don't use your fear as an excuse either. There's very few fears these days. I would say 5% or less of your fears are truly telling you to stop. Otherwise, they're preparing you. And if they are telling you to stop, then listen. Not today, wait 24 hours, there's another opportunity or something else. Or getting yourself more aligned or more clear before you go into it. All right. So I felt fear every day. I was horrified I wasn't going to do it. I was horrified I was going to lose the money. So here's the next thing. In order to create a money vacuum, you have to make a declaration. And you have to hook it to something you want. I wanted that coach. I wanted that help. I wanted that breakthrough. I knew, because 4 or 5 months prior, I decided in my heart, I need help. I don't know how I'm going to pay for it. I don't know who it is. Show me. And it took several months. I listened to different people. I read different books. I bought somebody's course. I got a free ticket to her event. I went to the event. She talked about this coach, that coach. I listened carefully. I was like, is it her? No. Is it somebody else she mentioned? And then she mentioned this person. So I started to read up on that person, and I started to look, and every step of the way, I didn't know how much it was going to cost me. I knew it was going to cost money. I was terrified to admit the humiliating circumstances I was in. So I wasn't even sure I was going to actually make the phone call, but I was willing to keep taking the steps. But the steps and the decision were always from my heart. I never stopped because I don't have the time. I don't have the money. Who the hell am I to spend this kind of money on somebody? I listened, because if you're listening to your heart, it doesn't matter if you're not to the place where you trust it. There's a way. There is a way, there is a way, there isn't any way that there's not a way. A problem can't exist without the solution. It's two sides of the same coin. It's the lack and abundance story, okay? So when you hook to something, I know, and you go in and you get rid of everything else and you see clearly with your heart, even if you're full of fear, I don't know how to do it, but I think I'm supposed to do it. This is the perfect moment. You are breaking free. You're breaking free from your old money patterns, from your own old karma. You're breaking free from recreating your life tomorrow. Something's going to be different, and you should get really excited and really proud of yourself. What you want to do is then hook to that dream. You make the decision, and then the heart makes the decision. Then the decision is made. You tell your mind. You write it down on a piece of paper. You say, show me the money, or I now joyfully attend the Bliss Life Retreat March 18th in Playa del Carmen, in the Yucatan, with Nan Akasha, and I manifest $4,000 to pay for the whole thing and extra for XYZ or whatever. All right. And then you have now anchored. Okay. So once you make the decision, not based on what you can see, because I don't know how to emphasize this enough, but there are solutions you couldn't even imagine in your wildest dreams. There are ways for you to achieve what you want or something way better, but you have to take a step towards what you think you want and then let go. You have to get out of your comfort zone. You have to. You can't change and make more money. You can't change and do something. You can't and keep things the same. So if you're doing that, then you are creating your own self-sabotage. And I would recommend that you look at it and stop doing it, because you're creating exhaustion, you're creating frustration, you're creating anger, desire, disappointment loop, and you're creating a lot of stress and disease in your field, and will eventually show up in your finances or somewhere in your life or your relationship or your body. And this is what most of us do. We say, I want more, but you're holding yourself back with these beliefs. So once you hook in to what you want, and I'm telling you that until you know this works and you unequivocally can do it all the time, because every time you up level and you manifest more money, some fears are going to come up. It doesn't mean you didn't do it right. That's what happens. You expand to a new capacity. So, the first time I made $100,000 was just mind-boggling. And now $100,000 is like, oh yeah, I know how to make that. I know how that feels. I know how to help other people make that. But I remember being on the other side of that and thinking, looking up and thinking, I wonder what it feels like to actually make $100,000 or actually make $10,000 a month or actually succeed in, signing up X number of clients by this particular date. I was so terrified of forgoing for these goals, because for me, it was more about humiliation. It was about failing. I had to be the best and succeed, and was terrified of looking bad. But it worked in my favor. It isn't the optimal way to create, though. So you hook in and you make the decision. Then you have to anchor the decision. Write this down. I anchor my decision by doing two things. Anchoring it, well, three. The first anchoring is writing it down. Writing it down, saying it, creating a statement. I'm ready and willing, or I now see, request, and accept. The way, including the money and the time and anything else that needs to appear for me to attend the epic Mayan crown chakra abundance awakening bliss life retreat in March of 2019. And I am ready and willing and open and receptive to see the way, to free myself from the fears and the beliefs that keep me from seeing the way, and to open my heart. I see myself right now. And then you put yourself there. Are you on top of the pyramid on the equinox? Am I doing the fusion, activation, initiation on the top of the Great Pyramid with you in front of all of the sacred symbols and the manifesting matrix that they left there? There are these symbols, and I'm going to take you through and I'm going to download them into you. Can you see yourself there as I connect your third eye and you look at the symbols, as I connect your heart, as you go step by step through the matrix, you begin to feel awakened. The energy coming up from the Great Pyramid is igniting you. You feel almost like a magnetic glow is going through you, like vroom, 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 vroom. Do you feel it coming out of your crown chakra? And then do you turn around as I connect you across to the Pyramid of Magician and explode that connection between the sacred masculine and feminine? And all of a sudden, within you is a peace as you are one once again with the field of abundance. Or do you see yourself sitting on the plane on the way home? It's one of my favorite visualizations. Again, write it down. These are secret killer tools, okay? This shit will make you a lot of money, but more important than money is what you get to do. So I want you to realize when you say, I want to go on the Bliss Life retreats, don't say, I want money so that I can go on the Bliss Life retreats. You say, I want to be there. I am ready to be there. I claim that I am there. I have no idea how I'm going to do it, and I'm ready for any idea to come from anywhere. Because somebody might show up and gift it to you. Okay, so something I manifested during this horrific divorce period was I lived about 2-3 hours from the beach, and I craved the beach. It's very healing for me right now. I'm looking out over the Caribbean Ocean, and I just breathing it in and sending it to you. And I wanted to go to the beach so bad. I was so beat up. I was so emotionally exhausted. I was so full of shame and guilt. I could barely get up every day and feed my kids. And I knew that if I could get to the ocean, it would be so healing and helpful for me. I had no money. I literally couldn't even pay for the gas to drive there. And the thought was like, okay, well, my ex, we would trade the kids back and forth. So time was okay. I had time when my kids wouldn't be there, but I couldn't even get in the car. Even if I wanted to sleep in the car and not eat, I couldn't even pay for the gas. But you know what I did? This was the moment I learned that the money vacuum responds to you, and that what you really want isn't money. However, sometimes money is the optimal form for your abundance. Sometimes money is the best way to have the freedom, but sometimes it doesn't matter if it's money. So I want you to realize that you are literally, energetically, mentally, emotionally, and financially putting a block between you and your manifestation. If you are saying, please show me or give me the money to do X, Y, and Z. You are not asking to manifest money, even though this is called money vacuum. You are asking to manifest the end result that you want. What is that? I want to go on this retreat, or I want to go to Arkansas, or I want to work with Nan, or I want to buy a house, or I want to whatever it is, okay? You want that, and make it a smaller goal that you can manifest in 30 days at first, okay? But you want the goal, because guess what? The universe has a million ways to bring you what you want, and it may not require money. What if a bunch of money shows up and you turn around and spend it on this trip, and then 3 days later, the trip comes for free, but you already spent your money on it. You could have kept that $5,000 that you manifested, and the money and the trip might have been free, and who knows why. I don't know. Believe me, I've seen people bring their friend and pay for them. I've seen people have ex-spouses, divorced partners pay for them to come to the retreat. I've seen people manifest money and they had no job to come to these things. I had a woman manifest $15,000 for a mastermind with me by paying she manifested $2,000 to give me the way I did with I told you my story, right? And then she paid me $15 a week, committed to doubling or paying me half of whatever she could manifest every week. And she managed to pay for the entire $15,000 program in 6 months. So it doesn't matter where you are. It doesn't matter if you have resources. It doesn't matter if you're full of fear or you don't know how to ask for money or you've never done this before or everybody thinks you're crazy. Doesn't matter. What I'm telling you is whether you want to come with me, there's Chris, my beautiful partner right there, and that's the Pyramid of the Magician behind him. That's one of the places we're going to be going. And this, all of the Mayan, all of the Egyptian, all of the stone circles in England, all of these places everywhere, right? They were all built by Atlanteans. They were all, the knowledge was gifted from Atlantis. They duplicated. So this amazing site that we're going to go to, duplicated it, it replicated, the temples in Atlantis of wisdom. And there's so many carvings, there's so much magic. That pyramid in the background is so powerful, it has magnetic power. It goes woo, woo. And the reason this is an abundance awakening is because the minute that I went there, I saw everything was about the dual-headed jaguar. So that's one of our guides. It's the yin and the yang, and the masculine and the feminine, the spiritual and the physical. And this is how we manifest things in form. And it was part of sacred sexuality here. And this was the Maya Sacred Feminine University based on the Atlantean wisdom that was implanted here. And so what we're doing is awakening this knowledge for you and for us. So what you want to do is say, what is it that this might do for you? So let's say you're like, well, but I wanted to do this next year and I wanted that. But what's the real thing for you? Is it the money? Is it your spiritual awakening? Is it that you're stuck in a pattern and you just know you need to do something different? Is it that you know that you can change your beliefs, that you can change your patterns, and that you really need to get out of your life for a week and break the patterns and habits of being you and install some new ones? Is it because you need a soul family? Right? Is it that this site or the dolphins or the jungle or the sacred cacao ceremony or the Mayan or the sacred Mayan bee or the liquid gold frequency of the site of Kaaba or these other sacred sites or the jungle or the trees or whatever, that they're calling you because there's a healing that's going to happen, there's an awakening, there's a releasing, there's a freeing, there's a renewing, there's a breaking free, breaking through, breaking down. They're all good. So because people have come to me literally just in the last week and said, I really know I'm meant to be at this retreat. Can you help me? And I pulled out my Find the Money audio, which I used to give people. I used to sell it for $100, or I would give it to you if you wanted to work with me. And I'm doing this call and I have some other things. So if you want to do this right now, contact me via Facebook or email at nanakasha.com and just let me know. And we'll talk. And I'll show you how the formula works. And I'll be your guide on your side. And if there's something else you want, there's another way we could work for me to help you manifest that. So I'm going to work with you for free to create a money vacuum for you. If you want to come to this retreat or the Arkansas retreat or join Light Body School, do something with me. I'm going to show you how you could work with me for a fee. If you want to manifest a different goal, that's absolutely fine. What I want you to understand out of this concept of a money vacuum is that you've got to get the negative feelings around I can't or I won't out of there and hold a space of possibility. Just complete childlike wonder or 0 point, like, okay, I've chosen, and here's anchoring it. So anchoring it, remember I told you, you have to anchor your decision. So your decision needs to be anchored with money. And that's 99.9% of the time that's true. Why? Because that's the fear that you're fighting, most likely. You don't always have to, it doesn't always have to be money, but it has to be two things. And usually it's some form of physical commitment. So you write down your agreement, you put some money towards what you're doing. So I gave $2,000 to this mentor. I then had to come up with $13,000 more for them in 5 weeks with no credit. and be able to come up with about $1,000 to $2,000 to fly 2 of us across the country and stay overnight and all this. So I told you, I got up every day. I was utterly terrified. I had a stomach ache the whole time. And I gave them $2,000. That left me with $1,000. Within a week, I had $20. I was back in fear, and I was fighting the only idea that I was being shown. I kept looking, what's the answer? Where do I find clients? Where do I find the money? What do I do? What do I do? What do I do? I started asking new questions, and this is what you have to do. Who can I serve? How can I help? What haven't I thought of? Where is somebody who needs me? And you have to start being aware. You might literally be sitting next to somebody who is your ideal client who could pay you in 4 seconds from now exactly what you're looking for. So I was going to an event in LA, I believe it was, and I was at this event, or Vegas, I think it was Vegas. And I got invited to a second event, and I decided to stay. So I arranged everything to stay, but to be honest, I was still early on in my divorce, and I didn't have any money. So I knew if I stayed, I would have $20 left to my name. But again, I tuned into spirit, and I said, okay, I feel like I'm meant to stay. Somebody's invited me to this other event. It feels like the perfect event for me to potentially find some clients. Do I stay and risk it and go home? Or I don't even remember if I had a way home, but let's pretend I had a way home and then I had $20 left. Or do I go home and play it safe and just say, no, you're just going to have to figure it out at home? And again, I had to do what? Number one, I had to remove the fear that I had $20, the fear I'd be stuck in Vegas, the fear that somebody would find out and I was a big loser or whatever, right? And so I decided to stay. And I left the one hotel, and the shuttle from the hotel I was at took me to the airport. And instead of getting on a plane, I simply waited for the shuttle for the other hotel to pick me up. And it picked me up. I was the only one in the van. And then it drove to another terminal. It parked, and he said, I'm going to go in the terminal. There's like 5 people in here that are coming to this event. So it may be 30 minutes or so. Can you hang out in the van? I said, sure. So I made some phone calls or whatever. Those people got in, and we had to stop at a couple of more terminals. By the time we got to the hotel, a lady in the van had hired me for, I believe it was $8,500. Okay. So am I glad I took that risk? Yes. Is that a great success story? Of course. Can I promise you that that will happen for you? No. Could it happen for you? Absolutely. Will it happen in 4 seconds or 4 days or 4 months? I don't have a clue, right? So all I can do is tell you that this stuff works if you apply it, but you're going to face your fears. You're going to have to make choices like I did to give $2,000 to this person and then every day get up asking, like really driven within, okay, how do I find the money? Who can I serve? And what did I do to hire that person for $15,000? I put on an event, but I had no money. So how do you do that? Well, that was one of the fears I had to break through. Where's your money? It's behind your fear. So my fear wasn't to speak because I loved speaking, but because I had gone through my divorce and I was still feeling really shitty, right, about who I was and about my, I just didn't feel successful. So I didn't want to speak on stage and have people look at me. So I was still hiding, but I was wanting to come out. I was wanting to change. I was wanting to do my work into the world again. So there I was saying, I want more. I want to reach more people, and I want more money, and I want more of a life again, but I don't want to get out there and have people see me. It's what I was telling you before. That's the pattern that's going to keep you stuck. So what did I do? I asked this person I was trying to hire, and the assistant said, put on an event. And I said, I can't put on an event. I don't have any money to hire put on down at a hotel. What if I don't get enough people? And they just shrugged and said, well, that's my suggestion. So what did I do? I put on an event. I found a space for essentially almost free. It cost me $200 for 3 days in a beautiful, beautiful place to put on the event. I sold it for $1,650, and it had room for 25 people. So the person told me, well, put 25 people in a room. So I did. Well, I didn't. I only sold 12. So I actually went into my event thinking I was an epic loser. I had just turned around from not having any money to bringing in $17,000 and having the cost of about $600 because I provided food and I brought in a massage therapist and I really pampered everybody. It was the Spirit of Money event and it was about money. And so all of a sudden I worked every day and night, day and night to get past my fear, to find the people that were right for that event. And I found 12 people. So now I look back and I see what an incredible success. It changed everything for me. I am so glad that I put that $2,000 down and that I went for it. And at the end of the event, I sold my mastermind, and within, well, we had money immediately, but within a couple of weeks, there was $50,000 in my bank account. And then I had 6 months where I had about a $10,000 a month income. And that was while I was going through bankruptcy and I had no credit cards. But that wasn't because I waited to see the money. It wasn't because I said, well, I better play it safe. I shouldn't be irresponsible or whatever. It was because I listened to my heart, and my heart led me to that place. And I didn't make the decision based on what I could see, whether I had the money or not. I based the decision on what was drawing my heart forward. And that, of course, yes, the advice I got, there was a little bit of advice I got from that mentor that was good. But for the most part, I'll tell you, it wasn't the mentor. It was what I did to manifest it. That's how you create a money vacuum. You put yourself into it. You make the decision, and then you anchor it by putting some money down. You've got to put the money down. It has to be enough money that you can start with $50. I have people who say, well, here's all I have is $50. But then within a few days, you have to stretch yourself to get more. Because look at that first event I just told you about that changed my life. The people who came to it didn't know that that was my situation. I wasn't telling them in that moment. In that moment, I was finding my way out of my thing, but I was able to gift them with this beautiful experience because I knew that my work worked, right? I was just having my own transformation. And so what happened is I showed up and I could be there for them, understanding what it's like to be in the pain and the fear, but also standing for them and saying, look what you can do. Because I was living proof right there in that moment. Every possibility is available to you right now, but you can't just stay there and stay the same. So I had to face my fear of getting on stage, and I had to face my fear of finding a venue that didn't cost me any money up front, and I had to face my fear of calling people up and talking to them and getting them to come to the event, and I had to face my fear. I literally at one point would sit in my room and say, who else? Who knows somebody who lives here, who knows this or that? And I would wait, and I'd say, there it is. And then someone that I know in LA, and I was in Austin, would pop in my head. And so I'd call her up. And I kid you not, I said, hey, I'm putting on this event and you popped in my head. I'm just trying to think who else could use this information, who else could be at this event. And she said, oh, wow, it's interesting you say that. I have this good friend. She lives in Austin. And guess what? Yes, I'm not kidding you. She came. So I'm here to tell you that the solution is already there. You're already rich. The pathway is already there. If you make the decision aligned with your heart, you might go down into it and realize you aren't meant to go here. Right? You might go in and say, oh my gosh, I really, really want to buy this program to become a speaker. It's just the thing. I have to have it. Oh, and there's drama going on with you. And then you let go of what people will think and everything, and you make a real decision in your heart. And while you're sitting in your heart, and you're not attached to it, and you don't think it's the solution to anything, and you're at peace, and you're just imagining and feeling what it would be like to have it, you realize, oh, that's not actually what I want. What I really want is to feel like this. What would do that? Let me just ask, show me what's the next thing for me to focus on or do. Show me something, some experience or person in my life that's going to lead me to, a new idea. And maybe that what you thought it was isn't. So it isn't, you have to decipher the ego want, right, from the true spiritual want. And so owning your ability to magnetically flip a switch because you make a decision, because you choose to anchor it by writing it down, declaring it, putting money towards it, right? And then making an agreement. So those are the three things that anchor it, right? The agreement could just be the statement that you make with yourself. If you want to do this with me, let's say you want to come to the retreat and you say, yes, I want to come to the retreat. I don't know how to do it. I'll say, okay, great, we'll talk. We'll depend on your personal situation, right? And then what will we do? We'll say, oh, okay, so 1, have you made or you need to go and make that heartfelt decision, right? And remove everything else. 2, you need to anchor it by writing the statement that you've chosen it and do the find the money process, right? Well, actually, that comes after the next step. But you want to write it down, make your statement. 3, you need to pay some money, right? Anchor it in so that you're showing people that you're serious. And 4, you make an agreement. So you and I have an agreement. I'm signing up for this. I will attend this. I am coming to this. The money is non-refundable, whatever. All the same rules everybody else abides by, because you have to have that commitment. If you don't, you won't do it 90% of the time. You won't get up when the fear is there. You won't get up when something is happening. You won't text me and say, oh my God, I can't even breathe. I'm so in fear about how I'm going to manifest this money, because that's what you have to do. And you let me show you how to breathe and how to let the energy support you and where to look. And I'm here, like I did a reading for a lady the other day, and she wanted to know about what's the next best thing for her to do. And I saw this creativity around her, and I told her the money that is most closely to being manifested in your field right now is all along your left side, under your foot, which means you're stepping on it. You already have something that is manifesting that you could make money through. And you also have, if you listen to your creativity, this is the path that this is going to manifest most quickly for you. So there's all kinds of different ways. Then I have an audio for you to listen to, a way to brainstorm and bring in ideas. Okay. So this is the way it is. Now, let's say you want to apply this to some other goal. It has nothing to do with me. Good. Let's say in the next 30 days, you want to come out with your first podcast. Okay, so you're like, I know that I have a lot to share, and I know if I come out with a podcast, it'll give me a platform for people to get to know me, and then I'll start seeing where that goes because I'm writing a book or something. So you're going to come out with your next podcast in the next 30 days. So make that decision. What are the fears that are coming up? Are you really anchored to it? Is your heart into it? Is it yes, 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 yes? Oh, yeah. Or is it like, yeah, a podcast would be good, but it's not really the best use of your time. There's something better. Then go back into meditation, go back into the present moment, go back and think about it. It has to be something you really want, okay? Now, when I went to Egypt, I wanted it. I had been wanting to go to Egypt for I don't know how long, and it was not a convenient moment. My children were little. I never would have gone to the lengths I had to go to make sure that my parents and other people could take care of my kids and all this stuff was taken care of. But it was an opportunity. It was the moment in time. It was there. I wasn't going to say, oh no, maybe some other time. It was the right moment. And I know that now because I've been through it, and it was epic. It changed my life completely. I wouldn't even be the same person if I hadn't gone. And I believe that is true for every retreat I do here. Everybody who leaves, they're like, oh my God, I'm a completely different person. We have almost the entire group coming back from last time because not only their connection to each other, but the experience. And so that desire, that deeper calling that will push you past the, oh, I'm too afraid. Oh, it's too awkward. Oh, I don't want, to ask so-and-so to lend me the money, even though I know I'll have the money next month, but and I just needed them to lend it to me for a couple of weeks, and then I could pay them, $100 for that. But I'm too afraid to ask because they might think I'm, greedy or something, right? So anchor it in, make your decision. You've got to put the money up front, and now you begin to brainstorm. You open your mind, and you open your energy, and you open your heart to the ideas. So there's an audio I told you about. If you're interested in doing this, like I said, PM me or send an email to us, ASST or support@nanakasha.com. And then we're going to send you some information, and you're going to look at it, and then we're going to talk, and then we're going to make an agreement, and then we're going to give you the audio, and then we're going to design. And it's individual to you because everybody's at a different place. Like I had a lady a year ago in September, not this most recent September, but the previous retreat. And she, I knew her from the speaking circuit, and she called me up after I talked about the retreat, and it was about 6 weeks before, and she said, I have a very strong feeling in my heart that my husband and I are supposed to be there, and I can't put the money down right now. I can't pay you right now. Is there any circumstance under which you would hold the special price for me and give me 3 or 4 weeks to see if I can manifest the money? And we discussed it, and I said, yes, under these circumstances? And she said, you don't have to tell me how. I'm really good at going, okay, I want this, and I go figure out where the money is. She said, all I need from you is the agreement that you're going to hold it, and then I'll throw my energies towards it. But what she wanted help with was that, and then I told her, okay, but you have to put something down, right? So she had to put some hundreds of dollars down, and she had to be willing for that money to be non-refundable. You have to be accountable to lose it, or you won't really move through your fear. At the first event that I did, the Rich Switch event that I told you about, a lot of people went through a lot of drama in their lives to get there. People missed airplanes and had drama with credit cards and with spouses and different things. And I knew this, and we were sitting there, we're finally here all together, and we're sitting there. One person did not make it. Their drama did prevent them from making it. So I was congratulating and welcoming everyone. I was speaking and saying, thank you so much for being here. I'm so proud of you. This is going to be an amazing weekend. And I want you to realize what you did. You saw that you wanted this. You knew that it was an answer to a problem you were having. And you stepped out of your comfort zone to say yes without really knowing what was going to happen when you were here. You faced your money fears. You faced your family issues. You faced all the drama that your inner subconscious has tried to throw at you to get here. And now you're here. And 100% you are going to have a massive, massive transformation. So acknowledging that, I looked at everybody and I said, how many people here would not be here right now if you had paid $100 for this event instead of $1,650? And I would say about 6 or 7 people, half of the people in the room, raised their hand. Now, what am I pointing out to you? I am showing you that your inner landscape is going to try to convince you that you shouldn't do it, or you can't do it, or you're being ridiculous to do it, or you're pushing too hard, or it's too stressful, or it's too much. And you're going to have drama and fears come up, whether it's just in your mind or in your stomach, or you actually have, this is what happens a lot when people hire me in some form, like they're going to come to the retreat. Their inner self knows they're going to have massive transformation, and they start to create chaos because that inner part of yourself is programmed to keep you the same. Within hours, I'll tell people, now you know that the transformation begins immediately, which is why there's no refunds. Because believe me, the minute you make the decision, your life is going to start changing. And ultimately, it's beautiful and wonderful. But at first, it might look painful or bad or scary. So I'll get a phone call within a few hours of like, oh, my husband just crashed his bike, and he's in the hospital, and I can't do this now, blah, blah. And then the next morning they call me back and say, oh, it's okay, don't worry. Or my kids are sick, or this or that, or they get sick. You've got the doubt girl, the doubt voice in your head is going to come and get you. It's going to make you second guess that you shouldn't have spent the money. It's going to bring buyer's remorse. And this is where you have to do what? The next step in your money vacuum is make your decision the right one. Support your own decision. Make the decision and then make it the right one by doing everything you can to make that decision happen. And the next thing that you do is make another decision. So let's say you do this. Oh my gosh, I think I was supposed to come to Bliss Life Retreats. I'm going to do it. You call me up, you put $1,000 down, and then we start working on how to make this happen. 3 days from now, your car crashes, and you're like, oh my gosh, I have to come up with $1,500 for my car, and I have to come up with the money for you. What am I going to do? I want to run away. I want to back out. I want to give up. I don't want to do it. Now, you're what? You're in the world. You're in the middle of manifesting. You're in creation mode. Why do you go to limitation? Oh, there isn't enough. I've decided to jump out and realize that there's more than enough. There's abundance everywhere. There's a reality already existing that I can tune into where I am here and maybe have more money or meet a client when I'm there or whatever. But instead, I'm going to take this other thing that I say just happened and make that the decision maker. And now go back on my decision. Oh, drama came up, or this so-and-so got sick, or whatever, something. It's going to happen. And you're going to have to say, well, we'll find the solution. Let's take care of that and go to the next step. And keep believing every step of the way. So the cool thing is, as you make your money vacuum, now you're watching. You're watching for those gremlins, right? You're watching for those, like the voices that are coming up. So one of the cool things about making something like this your goal, and of course you could do it again and again and again and again for the rest of your life. And what I realized was I used to teach people this process because I wanted them to be able to manifest, and then I wanted them to reach their goals, and then I wanted to help them get the money to hire me or come with me. And then I realized I've been doing this for myself over and over through my divorce, through the ups and downs. In the times, especially when I had no money, I had no idea. When I moved several times with my children. I had no money. I had no idea how. In fact, right before I decided to move, like everything disappeared. Money went backwards at one point. But I still moved forward into the uncertainty. So what did I do? I've proven to myself over and over and over, when I keep moving forward, when I stay aligned, I feel the fear, but I move forward. I look behind the fear. I ask again. I realign. I don't go back on my decisions. I believe, I push it. Then you eventually keep manifesting it and making it happen, and manifesting it and making it happen and realizing it. We have one amazing woman who is coming in a couple of weeks, and she started with me many years ago, and she came to the first retreats that I did in my home in California, and she didn't have a job. And I remember at the time, this was exactly what we did. She said, I know I want to be there. How do I do it? I said, put a little bit of money down and let's figure out, and you pay attention and you keep stepping into your fear. You keep stepping. And she came to one event and even sold some of her jewelry or something at the event. And by the end of the event, handed us the cash for the rest of the event. I think that now she's been to every one except for 2 of my events. And the ones she's coming to recently are thousands of dollars, not hundreds of dollars. And this has happened because she's learned to manifest despite whether or not her parents are ill and she has to take care of them, despite whether she has to take care of her daughter and can't work as much as she needs to, despite whether she knows where the money's coming from, or she has a regular job, or any other fear that comes up, because it does, for her, for you, for me, for everybody. But guess what she has done? I remember when she landed here a year ago in March was the first time she managed to get to one of these retreats. And she sent me a text after she landed and said, it's so surreal being here. It was worth every penny already. I could go home right now, and the event hasn't even started, and it was worth every penny. Why? Because she just proved to herself that there's possibilities to have what you want. There's ways to manifest things even if you don't know the way. That she could do it, that she did do it, that she did it for herself, and a million other incredibly empowering things. So I want you to understand that once you do this step by step and you create a money vacuum, I'm going to give you the last secrets of the money vacuum here in just a second. Okay, so let's look at a few more of our amazing, these are some new pictures from our Bliss Life Retreats. So if you go to blissliferetreats.com, you can see a video, pictures from all of the last 4 retreats. We go to different Sacred Mayan sites. We do very private access. This is I don't think it's going to be available much longer even to us either. Possibly. We have incredible access to beautiful dolphins, to heal, to kiss, to hug, to meditate, to play. Okay. We go into sacred waters that are in the grounds here that are pristine, open to the sun or enveloping. We go into the oceans and the jungles, and we climb pyramids. And you don't have to be young and you don't have to be perfect to do this. This is an epic and beautiful, loving experience, all while doing energy work, hugs, being pampered with beautiful food, loving people, and an amazing transformational experience, which we call the Soul Star Awakening. This time, you're going to awaken your inner eye, that inner vision, because how do you manifest what you want? How do you do what we just discussed if you can't at least begin to hook into the idea that you see yourself here? Right? That's why you need to go into a decision in your heart that doesn't have any other factors. Do you see yourself here? Do you feel it? So this time we're going to work with the dual jaguar. What does that mean? That's the jaguar spirit guide, but the male and the female, 2, that blend their energies together to create a light antenna that creates the manifestation matrix that we're going to be in. What does that mean? Well, you'll find out when you're here, and it's going to be an exponential unfolding. So when you just see, oh, I see myself climbing that pyramid, or I see myself on top of it, or, oh my gosh, I know that I'm supposed to be there to awaken wisdom for me from the Golden Library of Atlantis, right? Or here, this is at the top of that pyramid, and this is where we're going to do that wall, is what's called the manifesting matrix. And that's the manifesting world. There's codes, symbols, everything here. And the Golden Library of Atlantis is how to manifest into the third 3D world. So here I am doing, this was a week or so ago, I'm leaning against the symbols that are faces of people or aliens, however you want to see it, that came down to build the pyramids. That's what the one guide told us. But I'm resonating. I became one with this wall. I became one with the energy of this pyramid. So last September, we did something called the Black Star Jaguar Vision Quest, and that was our primary spirit guide. This time, that guide has led us here where there is a dual Jaguar altar, and like I told you earlier, everything at this site is about abundance, blending polarities, bringing your shadow and your light together, accepting your physical and your spiritual self, all of that, and really owning your power so you can manifest intentionally in the world. I am going to literally take you, see the people there, those are in the little spaceshipy things. This place has codes, it has symbols. We're going to go to other sites in the area. They're all very powerful with both Atlantis and Mayan energies. And you will have awakenings through the activations I take you through, the sacred ceremonies we do, just being here. It's called the Library in Stone. The frequency in stone will actually activate triggers in your DNA, and you will have an awakening that I don't know what it'll be exactly for you of who you are, or maybe what you used to do. Many people who come on these have a vision, not a vision, an experience of what their job was in Atlantis. Whether they were like an engineer or a gardener, where they used crystals or they worked with energies, and then they know how to apply it to their life now. So you're going to access information into the Akashic, into the mysteries, into the ancients, into the cells in the water. The land here is ancient seabed. It holds all of the codes from Atlantis and all of that stuff. This is called the Palace, and of course their names now don't accurately reflect what they were, but this is a part of the Golden Library, and the whole facade is the cosmos, with different wormholes and different portals and different manifestations that you can come in and out of, and how to become a descending god and come into form and to leave. The Mayans had the Mayan calendar. They understood the cycles. They understood energies. They understood what was happening right now. And coming here is going to awaken that for you. So hooking into whether you're meant to be here to manifest the money, I can promise you, if you think you're meant to be here, it isn't going to be as hard as you think. Last is Chris. This was here's our dual-headed jaguar, or dual jaguar. There actually is two jaguars, and their tails blend in the beginning. So all these symbols you see, these are Atlantean replicas of temples and symbols, energies. There's an unbelievable energy vortex in the land here, in every site we're going to go to, especially in front of the Pyramid of the Magician. So much so that the birds come and swim in a vortex, and oh my gosh, it was incredible. And they anchored the wisdom here. When you come to this site, there's going to be a part of you that you may or may not be conscious of that is going to connect to the wisdom here, is going to awaken it, either just for you or for everyone on the planet, and is also going to awaken within you some wisdom, and you have something to contribute to. So here's some more on top of the Great Pyramid, some more symbols, some more. We have the rain god chalk, which we're going to be working with, which is abundance, which is the same. It came from Atlantis as Poseidon or Neptune, right? The god of the sea. That same connection to this being a primary energy of force that you can access and work with for abundance, for forming life. You can see the rain god chalk right here behind me, sort of straight up from my elbow. If you see a circle that looks like circles within circles, that's in this particular chalk mask, that's the eyes. And these are eyes that are sort of going like old cartoons, with the spirals going in and out, like you're hypnotized, or you're on sacred medicine, or you're seeing between the worlds. And so these are the places that show you these sacred spots where this is where you have cosmic inner visions. This is where you have interdimensional visions. This is where you have the reconnection to yourself. So this is all here, and we're going to be working with these glyphs and these energies. Here's another one with this incredible Celtic image, which we've just activated to weave. I thought Donna fixed these. Sorry. Oh, yeah, this is disappointing. So give me a second. Guess she didn't do it. And no, they're okay. So they were just showing the wrong thing. Wondered about that. Okay, and so here we are, and that's good. Now we can show you the rest of these. So I would like you to, whether or not you're going to use your money vacuum idea, and you're going to contact me, and I'm going to help you, because I have 3-4, I think, people right now, and a couple others that expressed an interest of me helping you to manifest this. So imagine that you get my help for no extra cost to manifest something that, when you do, will change your beliefs about yourself and money, will give you this incredibly epic experience, right, to connect to your truth and your soul and activate your abundance and everything else, and to change forever your perspective about what's possible for you. So all of these things together is massive, right? Here, I showed you that. There we go, good. So this is the manifesting matrix wall I was telling you about, and you can see there's Celtic symbols, there's these Native American symbols, there's all these different things, and I'm going to, like I said, activate these within you. You can see the bird coming down above and below, representing spirit. You can see the underworld. You can see even some of these are snake. This are encompassing this. This is Kukulkan or Quetzalcoatl, which was the feathered serpent that comes down on the equinox. You see at Chichen Itza or whatever on the pyramids. That's their primary god in the Mayan times, was related to a god in the Atlantean times as well. And why? Because it's the path of transformation. We have to learn to grow and shed our skin, expand, grow our wings again. So always the feathers represent that higher part. So you can see that this is different than any of the retreats we've done before. Every retreat is completely different. There isn't going to be another opportunity to do this particular retreat. We may go back to this site because it's epic, but that doesn't mean that anything in particular is going to, this particular experience is never going to be the same again. So another reason for you, if you want to come, to contact me, and we can do that. Something else to maybe ignite your juices to know whether this is what you want to go for, is the night show. So this is the first time we're going to be at an ancient sacred site that has a light show at night. And we're going to have the opportunity to go 2 nights in a row to be not only at the site during the day, but be out. This is in the middle of nowhere, okay? The stars are unbelievable. The full moon is going to be happening. It's going to be the equinox, and you're going to sit here in the middle while they light up all these different things. This is the top of the Pyramid of the Magician. That's the crown chakra door just underneath it. You're going to see, this is when we enter. They light up all of these as a pathway into the site. That's another picture, the top of the Pyramid of the Magician lit up at the night show. So one of the things that you're going to gain here at this particular retreat is a completely new way of creating abundance or manifesting money for yourself. There's no longer time for you to think of it in the old way. And you have to unhook your old thoughts, your old patterns, your old beliefs about money, wealth, and worthiness. This is an epic place to blow that out of the waters, right? And to manifest for yourself this unbelievable experience, to manifest money, to do something epic, to change your life, to give yourself a spiritual, personal, and abundant gift, and to gift all of us. Something amazing about this jewel jaguar is when it was found, who knows where it is now, they found it within it, underneath it, hidden and stashed away, jewels and stones and necklaces and obsidian, stones of obsidian, which is mined here. And you'll want to get some. We have them. We have crystal wands that I have brought from Arkansas to that we took here already that are activated that you can have for your wand as well. And all these other things This was truly considered one of the most powerful sites, and that's why they anchored the sacred universities here. The Dual Jaguar is part of the presence of the ancient Atlantean priest, and I don't know if I'm going to say this right, Itzman, who helped to anchor a lot of the sites here. We're going to go to Kaaba and possibly Aki, which are both sites that have very powerful Atlantean energies. They brought technology, wisdom, and tools, and just like Thoth did in Egypt, and we've heard and read, right, that under the Sphinx and under the pyramid, there's tools and technology and spaceships and who knows what that have been brought in whatever form that means. Those were embedded there. The same thing is true here. So you may access this information energetically. And we have people who have very concrete memories that come forward. And because I'm an expert at shamanically guiding you, as a master level hypnotherapist and an energy worker, to give you tools, but to also guide you through activations, you're going to be releasing effortlessly, going deeper and deeper, accessing deeper parts of you, getting breakthroughs, visions, experiences with guides. And we do this at these sites, so amplify the experience, okay? So the feeling is that you're ready for something. Right? I'm ready for something new. I'm ready for something different. I'm ready for something to change. I'm ready for it. And that calling is a deep and ancient past. It's happening to everybody, right? So the Abundance Awakening at Uxmal is an ancient Mayan and Atlantean site. We're going to also be in Tulum, which is on the ocean. We're going to also have our Dolphin Day. We're going to have a cacao ceremony, cavern. We're going to go into this exquisite cenote, and it's the clearest, purest, most beautiful thing you've ever seen. This is the Pyramid of the Magician. There's so much on this site. You're going to have time by yourself. We're going to have time with us doing the activations. That's me there doing a 3-hour activation and meditation. Chris was taking the picture. He was across from me. You can see the bird above. There were vortexes of birds here. The energy here was, I'm still coming down from it. I literally couldn't stay awake last night. For almost 14 hours, I was drifting in and out of visions because of the time here. So Chris told me, just throw your hands in the air like you don't care. Yay, everything's great. This is the mouth of Chak on the top of the pyramid, and it's not scary. What this represents is that you are the person. Your third eye is activated. You see that dot on the thing? And as the activated and awakened, your crown chakra, your third eye chakra, you now have the vision and heart to manifest, and you're birthed through the mouth of Neptune or Poseidon or Chak. And this is part of our amazing ceremony. There's a little bit more with the cenote. Oops. There's the Pyramid of the Magician again. This is the cenote we're going to go to. It is not scary. It is pure. And we're going to have it all to ourselves. There's some more birds above me. The second day we were just there. So the first day I sat on one side and Chris sat on the other. And energetically, we were activating the masculine and the feminine energies, reconnecting to our own other selves, reconnecting our light antennas, and awakening the sacred feminine university temple templates and sacred masculine as well. The birds really came to support us. After we finished, we were just taking pictures in the courtyard. We weren't doing anything tricky with the sunlight. And it came like this, just these rainbows of light that showed up for us. Here's our cenote, and here's some of the light beings and energies that are already showing up for us at these sites. You can see and feel, this is the courtyard in front of the Pyramid of the Magician. There are bird carvings everywhere. There is an awakening waiting for you here that may be beyond anything you can imagine, because you probably in this life have not had an experience like this. So I want to invite you, blissliferetreats.com, to join us. And if you want to do a money vacuum with me for this retreat, or to come to the Arkansas retreat, or just talk to me about what are the other possibilities to work with me to manifest money for your goals, just let me know. So take a moment, breathe in the energy from this pyramid. Right here, right now, it can awaken a new place within you. a new crack of light that will open a vacuum for you to know what you want. Once you know and decide, you're going to anchor that into the physical. Decide, agree, pay. Then take the next step. Open your mind, brainstorm, let the ideas pour in. Allow the elements, allow your mind, allow your friends, allow the plants, allow the wisdom and the experience that you've had, allow all the parts of you to begin to guide you. Sit quietly, give yourself time every single day to listen, to write. Let me know if you'd like to work with find the audio. Just send us an email or PM me. I want the light to awaken for you. I can tell you that I have driven myself, I have worked myself, I have achieved enormous things in my life, and I have lost enormous things. I have faced fear, anger, pain, and wanted to kill myself, die, not live. And my life right now is not perfect. My health and body is not perfect. I'm older, all these things that I used to think I had to achieve. And a lot of the things that I spent my life achieving, I don't have. But I'm happier. I am healthier. I am more aligned with my bliss. I live in magic every day, and I never let money make decisions for me. I go on a trip, I move towards something because I just know that when I make that decision, it's not attached to anything I see right now, because that decision is going to change everything in my awareness, in my energy, and in my mind. And when it does that, then completely new thoughts and completely new doors open for me. I have received clients and money from the most mind-blowing and unexpected places at the last minute. You have to go all the way through the finish line. So if you're an athlete like I was all Europe in basketball, track, and played volleyball. And I learned in track, I was a sprinter, you don't slow down as you're getting to the finish line. You go faster. You push harder. I don't really like the push harder, but you understand what the physical. You focus more. You give yourself more time to see where the answer is. You ask the question 10,000 times that day instead of once, right? You find the guilt or the fear inside of you and say, come on, let's walk through it. On the other side of that guilt or the fear is a client, is somebody willing to lend me the money or give me miles to get my ticket to go there, or there's somebody at the retreat who'll share their room with me and I can pay them after the retreat, or whatever. There's a million ways for you to manifest what you truly want. And maybe you don't need to do any of it. Maybe you just need to decide. Maybe your biggest barrier is that you're not willing to choose for yourself. You're not willing to choose something that is this rich and delicious for you, that you shouldn't spend that money, or you shouldn't use your credit card, or you should maybe have all the money in the world, but you convince yourself you don't, or you shouldn't, or somebody wouldn't like it. Well, I'm your fairy godmother, and I'm here to tell you, if it's possible for me, from the heavy fears and pain and lack of self-esteem that I have dug myself out of throughout my life, to live a blissful, magical life day to day. And I mean magical in the truest sense of the word, because I'm not just talking about, oh, I don't worry, even if there's no way to see how to pay the bills or something. I'm talking about magic, like magical experiences that I think are the most amazing experiences that I would want above all other things show up for me. Things I wouldn't have thought of show up for me without me having to go, I will make this happen. I'm going to make this happen. Instead, I've loved dolphins for my whole life. I show up here and all of a sudden I realize I'm meet someone who owns the dolphins, and they're a healer and they're into energy work, and the dolphins talk to them, and all of a sudden there's a whole thing going on here. I didn't sit and write 8 million affirmations saying, I will meet somebody to do this, I will do this, I will do this. Is that one way to do it? Yes, repeat what you want, but you don't have to know. You don't have to know how, you don't have to know where, and you just have to be present, and you have to take these steps, okay? So these, you can see, we were on the pyramid, the Great Pyramid, and I did the activation for Chris that I did the first day for me with the wall of the symbols and awakened my third eye. I took Chris. We first went here in front of the Pyramid of the Magician and had our epic meditation. Then we walked and climbed the Great Pyramid. And as soon as I finished the activation for Chris, we turned around and looked out from the Great Pyramid across, this is zoomed in, of course, to this pyramid. And not only did we know that there were these smaller birds, swimming in a vortex in front of it because we had been in it, but all of a sudden now there were 7 of these enormous vultures. And these enormous, gorgeous birds that represent your highest self. It's literally that part of the Egyptian third eye, symbol. And they were circling and perching and circling and perching. These kinds of things happen. This is my house. This is where we will probably meet. And you will have at least one experience, or the party here looking over the ocean. The nature shows up, dragonflies, bees, iguanas, dragon energy, the jaguar energy. There's, from the distance, the Pyramid of the Magician over here near the sacred dual jaguar. I want you to understand that deciding to come to this retreat or creating a money vortex to do this is really hooking back into something within you that is ancient and is going to give you a depth to your life that you probably don't know. I can tell you that's what people say when they leave here. It's like, oh my goodness. So because there's symbols and manifesting things here that don't exist anywhere else, because we've been activating this for 2 years now, this land, and because the people who are called are seeing it really as a calling from their soul that is more important than anything else in their life, I want you to understand. So this Mayan shaman named Miguel Angel, he said Uxmal, which is this site that I'm showing you, the Sacred Feminine Cosmic University is the doorway to the Golden Library of Atlantis. Guided by our mother Ixchel, so that's a Mayan goddess that we work with, the sacred feminine force of the planet, you can visit the Cosmic Library in stone through your spiritual gifts to see again the Atlantean Mayan teachers who still work on the 4th dimension with sacred science, art, calendars, mathematics, philosophy, sacredness at these sites. So you're going to encounter these whether or not you know it. They're there. Okay? And I know that they were also working not just in the 4th, the 5th, and the 8th dimensions. The macrocosmos in union with the microcosmos above and below, within and without, the 2 polarities coming together that I told you. Mother Atlantis left her imprint on the great facades in this Maya ceremonial center. So this is what you're coming to, is something incredible. So there you go, BlissLifeRetreats.com. Now let's wrap up and just let me look deeply within and see. I think we've done it. I think we've had an epic and amazing opportunity to tune into what is a money vacuum. And so I wanted to share that with you because it's current, it's relevant. People are coming to me saying, I want to do this with you. I also do this with my Light Body School. People come and they're saying, I can't pay in full and you have this payment plan, but I can't do that payment plan. And so it's all individualized, because if they step in and ask and they follow their heart and I align with it, then there's always a way, right? And both of us are lining that up. So I want you to understand that the solution is already there. The money is already there. The time is already there. The people who will support you are already there. Your fear of whether or not you should, or feeling guilty, or being afraid, or being uncertain, or worried about what someone else will think, or worried about flying to Mexico, or whatever your issue is, right? It isn't real in that sense, okay? So don't call me up and say, well, I literally have this problem and I can't do X, Y, Z. I'm telling you that if you're called to do something, there's a way to do it. And I want you to decide that for yourself, whatever it is. Because if you go after your heart's desire, you stop letting money or fear or other people or what you can see in your bank account right now or what you can do decide for you, then you're not going to create a new life. You're going to create the old life. You're going to create the old fears. You're going to create the old lack. You're going to create the old roller coaster income. You're going to keep waiting. I have people who have been on my list for 10 years that have said, one day I'm going to come do something with you when I see the money. And I smile and I tell them, would you like some help? And I've offered this kind of help to them. And they've said, when I see it, I'll come, because they're not really connected. They're not really willing to step out and stake a claim. They're not really willing to put themselves in anchor. They're not really willing to break those patterns. That's not a bad thing. I am not judging you or anyone else for that, because I've been there too. What I'm telling you is the same situation is going to come up for you over and over, whether it's this retreat. I have a couple of really close friends who were clients and they became friends who really want to be at this retreat. And a year ago, we're trying to get here literally all the way up until the day before and didn't manage to manifest it. And are they now calling me up saying, I'm going to get there, I'm still going to get there? No. They lost it. They lost that call because they didn't see it happen, or because they didn't stretch and they don't want to, because whatever. And again, this isn't to make you feel guilty. You get to choose. I'm not in charge of your karma. I'm not in charge of what you manifest. And I'm certainly not in charge of whether you decide to believe or not that the path is there. But I'm not going to lie. I'm going to tell you what I know. From my experience over and over and over, I have manifested out of nothing. And so have you. You just have to keep doing it. So hook your heart in, make a decision not based on money or anybody else. Anchor it in by putting some money where your mouth is, or writing an agreement, making an agreement with something or someone outside of yourself so you can't shrink away from it. And then go in and brainstorm. Ask, show me the way, show me the way, show me how I can give, show me the money, show me the path, and then see yourself doing, or after you have manifested or received your goal. Put yourself in that moment. You absolutely have to do it. All right. Fantastic. This was an epic call. I enjoyed so much. Thank you for contributing your love and your energy here. I hope I'll see you at the Bliss Life retreats. I hope that you'll go out and go after your dreams. I hope that you're at a place in your life where even if you feel confused, overwhelmed, alone, you have no idea where the money or anything else is going to come from. I know. I've been there. And people who are on this retreat have been there. And people who I've worked with over the years have been there. And there's nothing to feel embarrassed about. And there's nothing to feel afraid of. All there is left to do is to open your heart and say yes. Give yourself some light. Open a window. You don't have to sit and wait. You don't have to give your power away. And money is everywhere. There isn't a lack of money, and there isn't a lack of time, and there isn't even a lack of gold or blood supply or water or air or housing. Because we're infinite beings who have access to infinite ideas, and we will always come up with a new solution. So there's no use in projecting forward into our collective future as a planet or a country or a city or an institution, or even as a person. Because tomorrow, something completely new that you don't know about could be invented into the world. We could no longer ever need money again, because we all learn how to simply manifest whatever we want in the moment. We free ourselves from guilt and pain and desire and wanting things from other people. And we step into being generous and loving and kind, because there's nothing to fear, there's nothing to covet, and there's nothing to feel that you're deprived of. You are an abundant being. You chose to be here, you manifested yourself here. Whether you know it or believe it or can hook into it or not, I know you're magnificent. And you're not here to feel pain, and you're not here to feel limited, and you're not here to wait. You're here to start saying yes to the beautiful opportunities that are showing up, because you're asking in your heart, and you're asking in your mind, and you're asking in your journals, and you're asking in your meditations. So beautiful, beautiful one, know that you are being answered. Look for it, affirm it, receive it, accept it. You're worthy and you're beautiful. You were designed this way on purpose. Everything that you need is ready here for you now. Blessings and love. Namaste in Lak'ech Alakin. I am another you. You are another me. As you free yourself and allow money to run to you, to love you, to play with you, to stay with you, to support your mission, to heal your body, to create a whole new life for you. You give me and everyone else permission to do the same. You don't just for yourself. You are not greedy to manifest for yourself. It is the number one thing you can do for everyone else. Depriving yourself of money, time, support, opportunities, situations, healings, experiences is not how you can serve the world. And no matter how many people you love tell you that by holding back or by waiting is the best way to serve the world, by not being greedy, by not doing what you want, it isn't true. And it's not because they're mean or they're evil. They have their own fears and they have their own limitations. And they don't know who you are and they can't see it for you, even the people who know you the best. The only part of you that knows who you are is inside. And when you free it and let it tell you what the right decision is without influence from fears and past and other people and money and limitation and blah and blah and blah, you hook in to the flow of abundance, the flow of life, the flow of happiness, the flow of joy. Namaste.